Where's Office Depot at?
I'm not sure where it is right now.
Is there one around here somewhere?
I don't, they moved. I
Okay.
think they're Louisville.
Okay, we're good to go.
Good afternoon, and this is ALCOSAN's Professional Services Committee meeting. Today is February the 13th. We will begin with the roll call. Ms. Prater.
Emily Kincaid, Dr. Shanna Tharp Gilliam, Darren Kelly,
Here.
Sylvia Wilson.
Here. All right, thank you. We are now going to get some information on the informational item, an RFQ, Regionalization Regulator Assessment. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, it is as you spoke. We are in need of a regulator assessment. As you wonder, what is a regulator and why does it need to be assessed? Our Director of Regional Conveyance, Mike Lichta, will enlighten us all. Mike.
Thank you.
How's that? Okay. Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair, this is an activity that's required by us from the modified consent decree. As you know, we're up to about 50 miles of transferred sewers. Along with those 50 miles are coming over bunches of CSO and SSO regulators. And these are the structures that divert flow either to our system or to the stream. In accordance with our consent decree, we have to incorporate these structures into our system. We have to incorporate them into our model. We have to do a hydraulic assessment to determine how much dry weather flow we're sending. So all kinds of activities associated with the consent decree that have to be performed. This procurement is going to be a procurement that whereby these structures are surveyed, they're assessed. Basically, the interiors are checked, the rear elevations are checked, the pipe diameters are checked, and all kinds of activities. And then a drawing's created, which forms the basis for the model upgrades, regular capacity assessment, which I spoke earlier, and a number of other activities. So again, this is required by our consent decree, and we're asking for permission to go out and request qualifications from qualified firms.
Thank you so much. We'll look forward to what the results are once you send this information out and who responds.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we'll move now into our action items. Our first is a motion to recommend the modification of the Service Authorization 318, which is for Three Rivers Wet Weather, for a no-cost time extension to provide ongoing municipal stakeholder support through the end of this year, December 31st. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, Three Rivers continues to provide excellent municipal support. A no-cost extension takes them through the end of this year. They will be bringing a report in March.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to recommend modification.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Righty, thank you. We'll move on to the next item, which is a motion to recommend modification of Service Authorization 329 for WRA for a no-cost extension of an additional 12 months associated with the East Headworks project. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, WRA was retained in, I believe, 2019. The project was anticipated to wrap by this time. That is not the case. I know you'd like to hear no cost extension. I
Of course.
say no cost extension. The ratepayer appreciates no cost extension. The director of engineering and construction will talk about the no cost extension. Kim Kennedy, please.
Thank you, Arletta. So I think we all remember the ceremony, the steel ceremony out at the Headworks. So we've made tremendous progress since then. And like Arletta said, we were supposed to be done by December of last year. It is been delayed a couple months, still making good progress. And this no cost extension also allows us some safety for closeout documents and getting our record drawings, make sure they're buttoned up before we put this project on the shelf. So happy with the services and just looking forward to bringing the East Headworks online.
Right, thank you.
Motion to recommend modification.
I will second it. And since we are both moving this motion, it is approved. All the items that we discussed today will be referred back to our legislative or our board or regular board meeting later this month. We'll move on to item C. It's a motion to recommend modification of service authorization 353 for G. Stevens for additional work associated with the construction phase services of the environmental compliance facility for an amount not to exceed $68,270. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, not a no cost, however, an extension. This work was initiated in 2020. And once again, the director of engineering and construction will speak to it. Kim.
Yes, thank you, Arletta. This is our beautiful new environmental compliance facility. G. Stevens was the CM on both the parking garage and the ECF. So we had staff move into the building between October last year and January of this year. So it's fully staffed at this point, but there are some ongoing building commissioning items just to make the space as, shall we say, efficient and effective as possible, especially in the lab, which has a lot of pretty unique criteria to make sure that it's working correctly. So we're very happy with the support that we've received from G. Stevens, and we just need a little bit more time to make sure that building is satisfying the stakeholders that are now working out of it.
Okay, thank you.
Motion to recommend modification to the whole board.
And I will second it. So this is approved to present to the board, full board later. Our next item is a motion to recommend the modification of service authorization 396 for Veritas Prime for a no-cost extension through January 31st of this month, of this year, I mean. Wait a minute. Let me look at that. Yeah, January 31st to complete tasks associated with the Human Resources Information System. Okay, I'm being surprised because we're in February. Ms. Williams?
Sometimes you have to play catch up, Madam Chair. This is catch up. We are pleased with the service that Veritas Prime has provided. This is relative to our new Human Resource Information Management System. Again, a no-cost extension that makes them whole through the end of last month.
Okay. All right, thanks.
Motion to recommend modification to the whole board.
And I second it, so it is approved to be presented to the board. Our next item is a motion to recommend approval of a service authorization to KDG under the agreement for engineering consultants services for an amount not to exceed $578,524 to perform the scope of services for the construction management services for the CIPP rehabilitation of the Upper Sawmill Run and Lower Ohio interceptors. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, there is a cost. It is not a nominal cost, but it is a very important project. And Mike, the Director of Regional Conveyance, will speak to it. Mike, please.
Thank you, Arletta. Madam Chair. This project is a cured in place lining project. It's a pipe rehabilitation project, about 3 miles of interceptor pipe, Upper Sawmill Run in Castle Shannon, the Lower Ohio in Stowe Township, and another number of other smaller sites, Bates Streets, Woodruff Street, River Avenue, of pipes that we own. This project was submitted to the Corps. It's a Corps partially funded project for $2 million. We have a designer on board currently who's kind of wrapping up the design. There's a few agreements with the Port Authority and the railroad that need to be finalized, but we and the solicitor are working through that process. This is a fee award for KDG to do construction management services on this project. If the board recalls, we had awarded them the actual project back in October. We're ready to bring a fee to the full board. And, KDG, we had a couple meetings with them on the negotiation side, and we refined the scope. So we're ready to submit a fee to the board of $578,524. KDG was the most qualified firm. They are a WBE firm, and they're relatively new to us, and we're very happy to have the opportunity to work with them.
Thank you very much.
Motion to recommend approval to the full board.
And I second it, so it is approved to be moved forward. Our last item is a motion to recommend the approval of a service authorization to SHL under the Agreement for Professional Services. This is for an amount not to exceed $100,000 to update the plant and clerical entry and apprenticeship exams. Ms. Williams.
Madam Chair, the committee is aware that we have entry-level testing for employees coming into our bargaining unit positions. It has been in place since 2000. It needs to be updated and upgraded to help us better select. This provides for that.
Thank you. Nothing
Motion to
unusual.
recommend- Motion to recommend approval.
Thank you, and I second it. So all of these items, as I said earlier, will be presented to the full board for consideration at our meeting, our regular board meeting this month. All right, thank you. Seeing no new business.
No new business.
No new business. So we will adjourn and we'll see you next month. Thank you all, and thanks everyone for all the work